Hi everyone and welcome to Mommy Mondays. Today is going to be a little bit different kind of episode um because I feel like it's something that is weighing heavily on my heart that really needs to be discussed, especially in this kind of environment, us mommies together, and those who aren't mommies who want to understand more about how mommies think. Um so we have a lot to unpack. So if you're new here, I'm Gianna. I put out videos on Mondays and Fridays. Um, Sometimes I'm a little late, like today. I'm a little sorry about that. But I typically try to do Mondays and Fridays. Mondays is Mommy Mondays, and Fridays is Closet Conversations. Um, on Mommy Mondays, obviously, we talk about mommy issues, mommy mayhem, mommy madness, mommy magic. And on Fridays, we talk about art, luxury, fashion, closet renovation, closet solutions, closet organization, all things to do with closet and finding things and storing things and all that good stuff. Sometimes the conversation goes all over the place, and we're okay with that. So if you are too, you might want to go down there and subscribe. And turn on the bell so you know when my videos come out. Because as I said, sometimes they're a little late. Um, Today, I want to dedicate this episode in loving memory of Jill Stewart. Now, for those of you who don't know who Jill was, Jill was our local. We have a local hotel chain, Sandals. Well, it's pretty much international at this point, or for a while now. But it's homegrown. It started here. And Adam Stewart is the executive chairman, and his wife is Jill. Jill is Bahamian born, but we know her and love her here. I never met her personally, in full disclosure, but we used to exchange messages on social media, like I think she did with a lot of people. And it's very easy for you to feel a connection to those who you regularly have any sort of exchange with. Um, so she would have probably been in real life an acquaintance of mine if we had met, but we hadn't met. But we talked about actually some deep things, because especially when she got sick, um, we would talk about various books and how she was feeling and stuff like that. It tapered off maybe a few months ago. Um, I think I think I actively stopped messaging when I knew that she had a stroke and she had lost sight in one of her eyes, because we used to talk about books a lot. And um, instead of, asking about that, I assumed that maybe she wasn't reading as much because of her eyesight. And like, I didn't know how bad things were, because she would let me know when she's feeling better, but not necessarily when she's feeling worse. So because I didn't know what was happening, I gave her the space, because I know that family is a big deal to her. And so I expected that she was spending it with family and that sort of a thing. So it tapered off maybe, I don't know, a few months ago. Anyhow, on Saturday, anybody who knew her or knew the situation got the worst news delivered by Adam via social media, because see, social media is that place to connect. Saying the unimaginable had happened and she had passed on Friday night. So Jill had 3 kids: Austin, Sloan, and Camden. And I don't know what she thinks her biggest accomplishment is in her life, because at this point there have been many, because of how public she was with her fight and how inspirational she was along the way. She was big into wellness before. Oh, my son woke up. Give me a second. Right. So this is Lyric making his cameo. Um, right. So I don't know what she saw her biggest accomplishment as, considering okay, considering she had done a lot in her life, especially promoting wellness and fitness and all those things. But 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 if she's like any of us who have done anything in our lives, who become mommies, um she probably sees her kids as her biggest accomplishment. And when you do that, and remember, I've only been a mom for 5 minutes to this one, but when you do that, so many things come into play as to everything you're doing. Like, your priorities change so much, and they really are centered around your kids. So like, I'm feeling under the weather today, and my biggest concern is not me feeling under the weather, it's my son, and if I'll be able to breastfeed. So luckily, like, when you're sick you can breastfeed, but even though I know that, and even though every time I get sick I look it up and get confirmation of that, I still look it up every single time I'm sick, just because, you don't want anything to go wrong with him. So speaking about that, that's why it makes all of this, unpacking this, so hard, and it makes so many people not address this. So those kids won't be the first that have ever lost their mother young, right? My two brothers lost their mother. One was 10 and the other one was 8. When their mother, Auntie Dara, she passed away in 1991. Right. So this one too. Okay. Sorry. We're normalizing breastfeeding, right? So it was 1991. I was 9 and they were 10 and 8. And so in full transparency, they aren't my biological brothers, they're my biological cousins. But their dad basically raised me in the same house with my grandmother and my aunt, who basically took me over because my father was a musician, so he was always on tour at that time, especially. And my mother was in law school at that time, but later on it was just that, motherhood and her weren't the best match. So their dad took me as his own, and anybody asked, I was his daughter. So they're my brothers, naturally. Now, their mom even wanted to adopt me at some point. It was that I was that blended in that family. And she was like the kindest, most special person that you will come across. Well, you won't. None of us will, because she passed away that long ago. She was about 35 years old, so she was very young, just like Jill. Jill, I don't know if she hit 40 yet. But it was also cancer. She had, I want to say she had cervical cancer. But the approach was totally different, and I'll go into that because I don't know that there's a right or wrong way. Honestly, I don't. So the reason I'm unpacking this, though, is because I feel like it isn't spoken about even after. Like, no one talks about all of it. Everybody just wants to be mindful of the grieving process, and that's personal to everyone and everything like that. But I think it would be remiss of me if I didn't talk about it on Mommy Mondays, because in part of how we think about our kids, it's the fact that we never ever want to know that they will have to live without us. Bess. Do you hear him? He's our best. Right. So, okay. From day one, when Jill got her diagnosis, well, I don't know how, if it was day one, but it was very shortly after. She was very public with it, and she wanted to be. And Adam reiterated that in his tribute to her on Saturday, where she really wanted it, wherever the journey led, she wanted it to be shared. So that was brave, very brave of her, because, you know, when you put things on social media, they're open to interpretation by very many people. And not everybody is nice. And not everybody is You want more? That one? Okay. He wants to switch again. And not everybody is nice, and not everybody is understanding that you're human when you're sharing these things. And not everybody understands that there's a benefit to various people. So maybe it's not for you, but it might be for the next person. But that person who's reading it or watching it, they feel like, because they're the only one, you know, focused on it at that moment, they feel like it's directly to them. So they end up reacting based on whatever's going on with them, whatever demons they might have, whatever healing they might need, whatever joy is in their life, whatever joy might not be. You understand? So they end up, responding based on them. Now, that can be hard to take for some people who know the intentions of why they put things out there. So regarding sickness, it's a very sensitive thing, because some people might call it attention seeking. Some people might call it, well, what do you want? Sympathy. Especially if they think that you've done well enough in your life, or your life is good enough based on what they know, that, you should struggle in some way. And these are real sentiments. Yes. Hi. Yeah. Yeah. He's looking in the mirror. And these are real sentiments that some people share. And they end up spilling over into very nasty comments and thoughts towards people, which are not warranted. They're not even acceptable. But this is the nature of social media and sharing anything. He's trying to get me to go. I can't go. We're videoing right now. You want to say hi? No. Okay. Okay. So, it's with that. Okay, so my own aunt, yes. Mommy's doing a video. Come here. Come say hi. So it is with that, let me see if I can go start some Miss Rachel for him so I don't get interrupted.